and yes, welcome back to another video, guys. Now that's right, we have approached the end of 2023. Can you believe how quickly this year has gone? It's insane. Anyway, we are here, and of course at the end of the year I always like to do a few videos. We are going to have a bit of a mix-up this year. Normally I would rank every TV show I've seen, which was 32 I saw this year. And I would do a complete video where I rank every single movie I do that I watched this year, which I think I got up to 106 or something. We're not going to do that this year because those videos take too long and I've got too much to do here on the channel in the next couple of weeks in preparation for the new year. Because as you guys know, I keep teasing there's going to be some big mix-ups here on the channel. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a top 10 best TV shows, which is what this video is. Obviously, you've clicked on it, you've seen the title, blah, 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 blah. We're going to do a top 10 best movies and a top 10 worst movies. If you do want to see my entire ranking of my 2023 shows and movies, go follow me on Letterboxd for my movies because I have a ranking on there. You can go get spoilers for the top 10 already and top 10 worst. And for this, there's an app called Serialized. Go follow me on that as well and you'll be able to see my ranking of all the TV seasons I've watched in 2023. There is a link to the Letterboxd in the description. I haven't linked the Serialized yet, but I've got a link tree page ready to go, which I'm going to start adding on my videos in the new year. So the link to my Serialized will be on that in the new year. So yeah, if you want to have a look, go just click on one of my videos in 2024 and there'll be a link to my Serialized in the description, and Letterboxd, it's already there. The link's already there and it will remain there. So yeah, if you want to see my entire rankings, go look at that. Go look at that. Anyway, let me tilt the camera this way. We're going to do a top 10. I'm just going to do a couple honourable mentions though, because there have been some really good shows. Just going to pick out a couple here. I've got to say the new, let me pan this up a bit. There we go. That's a bit better. The new Gamera show, which went to Netflix. My friend Jason recommended this to me. This show was really good. I've been waiting for them to do something with Gamera for years, and this was really entertaining. This was a good time. The documentary that come out on John Lennon, Murder Without Trial. I mean, I've seen documentaries on John Lennon's murder 1,000 times because I'm a big Beatles fan, but this one was really interesting. The Walking Dead Dead City was pretty good as well. I like this confined, shorter episode. You know, the amount of episodes that these shows are doing now in the Walking Dead universe, it works a lot better. I'm going to say the Bad Batch from Star Wars. I wasn't massive on season 1. And while season 2 started off a bit underwhelming as well, the back half was so entertaining. What We Do in the Shadows, I think this was its 5th season. We've only got 1 season left, unfortunately. But this is always great. The humour's brilliant. And the final season of Barry. I actually wish I liked this one a bit more, because every year Barry has always been in my top 10 that it's come out. This was probably the weakest season, unfortunately, but it was still entertaining enough. Anyway, guys, here we go. We're 3 minutes in. Let's just crack on with the top 10. Let's breeze through these. Coming in 10th place is a show which, this was my most anticipated show of the year. I went to the panel for this show earlier this year, so I got to see the cast and the creators talk about this show, and I was so hyped, and that is Star Wars Ahsoka. I'm a huge Clone Wars Rebels fan, and I've read all of the Thrawn novels, so I was so excited for this show. And it come out, and yeah, it wasn't like the best thing ever. I'm not completely biased, but it was very, very entertaining. I thought all of the casting was brilliant, from the animation to live action. I thought that they cast everyone from Sabine, Ezra, Hera. Obviously, they got the voice actor back for Thrawn. Cast all of that brilliantly. I thought the series felt well structured compared to Mandalorian season 3 that we got this year. Nowhere near the top 10, unfortunately. Like, there was an actual purpose to this show. It's like, okay, we can see where we're going here. We're going to do some setup, then we're going to go to this place where Thrawn is, and then how is this going to unfold? There's like an actual structure to the show, which I liked. I thought the effects were pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of this volume thing anymore. All the sets kind of feel a bit small in comparison to the shows that don't use the volume. But yeah, I thought everyone done a great job. I thought the storytelling was pretty good. The standout for me was probably Ray Stevenson's character, which is such a shame. R.I.P. to him. But yeah, when Thrawn finally come into it, it was amazing. I'm such a huge fan of that character. I can't wait to see him in the next show, because obviously he's quite isolated with this one, with just the remains of his ship and squadron that he had at the end of Rebels. So now that he's back, I'm hoping next time we see him, if it's Mando season 4 or Ahsoka season 2, He's really badass. So yeah, Ahsoka comes in at number 10. Coming in 9th place is a show I've been a huge fan of, and I can't help but think maybe this show should have ended one season a bit earlier, but I still had a really good time with this. It's number 9, it's made my top 10, and that is Sex Education. And I purely think this is here because I love these characters at this point. I just love watching them. And watching this show, every season has been the same. I cannot help but just put the next episode straight on. I know that for season 3 and now this season, I ended up watching both seasons within 2 days because I just found it so hard not to carry straight on with the next episode. I was always so engrossed in where they were going with these characters and what they were doing. For me, this season just ran 2 episodes too long, I think. There's an episode, I think it's episode 6. There's a funeral, I'm not going to say whose. And that felt like the story was sort of rounding up, and that was a great place to end it. But then there was another 2 episodes sort of tacked on the end. But, you know, I know a lot of people don't love this show, this season, because obviously they go to a new school, and there's a lot of quote-unquote agenda pushing, if you will. But that's what this show is. It's all about that, you know. It's about showing the young youth of today and how they get through life. It's very much a coming-of-age show, and I've got no problem with that, to be honest, with this show, because that's exactly what it is. So, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought there was a lot of good character work in it. There was just some things I would have personally done a bit different, and as I say, maybe it outstayed its welcome just a tad too long, this show, but still really entertaining, had a good time with it. Coming in 8th place, I can't believe that this is here. I can't. The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. I mean, The Walking Dead, like I say, I like Dead City, that was good, but Walking Dead for me, I was a huge fan. I started watching when season 2 aired, you know, when I was at secondary school, when it just started. I've watched nearly everything from The Walking Dead, from the 7 seasons of Fear, haven't seen 8 yet, the 2 World Beyond seasons. The only thing I haven't done is that Tales of The Walking Dead, just because you cannot watch it anywhere here in the UK. But yeah, Daryl Dixon, this show, I can't believe how engrossed I was in this. Visually, the scope of it was brilliant. The story was really engaging. I haven't been this engaged in a Walking Dead story since probably like season 5 of the main show. And all the side characters were great. The creativity behind it, where they went with it, it's just fantastic. Some of the sets were gorgeous as well. I couldn't quite believe what I was watching. Norman Reedus seems to have found this new energy for the character as well, because I loved him in the early seasons. But I didn't get this Daryl hype train, to be honest, around the middle of The Walking Dead towards the end, because his character got really boring for me. He found this new energy for him here. And just being in another country, being in Paris as well, was really great. And I like the ending. I sort of wish Carol hadn't showed up, but I know some people are excited. I'm curious to see where it goes in the next season, and I'm so excited for next year to see the Ones Who Live show. So yeah, Walking Dead, it feels like it's back, and the main show's over. It's weird, but yeah, I'm fully into it all. Next up, oh, thank God this one's here. We have Loki Season 2. Marvel have... I liked Guardians 3 this year, I like that, but Marvel have had a stinker of a year, you know. Secret Invasion was one of the most boring, forgettable things I've ever watched in my life, hence nowhere near the top 10 either. Ant-Man Quantumania was terrible. They have a real-life villain in the movie. And then The Marvels was painfully average, but potentially their most forgettable movie ever. I liked Guardians. Guardians was good. Guardians was very good. And for the TV department, Loki was also really good. I wasn't massive on the first episode, I'll be honest. You have Kyuhee Kwan in it, and I love that guy. I love him. But it's his character with so much exposition. And it was all just a bit much. But then episode 2 chilled right out, and this show knew where it was going. And I want to say, it looked fantastic as well. The thing is, it came out right after an Ahsoka, and while I really enjoyed Ahsoka, you could tell this didn't use the volume. There were real sets, and it just felt more like a movie or like an actual show. It's like, wow, this feels like they've put more effort into how it's going to look visually. The effects were crazy good when Loki was, you know, going through the times, you know, splintering or something, I think they called it. Really, really great. All of the characters were great, how they all bounced off each other. Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston are the best buddy cop thing the MCU has ever had. And while I sort of hope we don't see Loki again, because I think this show gives him the perfect ending, I am going to miss that buddy cop thing that they had. But yeah, there was a load of great, crazy storylines in this one. It was wacky and weird. But the final episode of this show might be the best final episode I've seen for a Disney Plus show after Andor. And maybe Mando Season 2, because my Luke Skywalker biasness is right there. But yeah, this is right up there with one of the best finales I've ever seen from a Disney Plus show. Loki was surprisingly really good. Coming in 6th place, we have Prehistoric Planet 2. I've got 2 documentaries back to back here. This one, it actually took me a while to get through this, just because it's Apple TV and I only have that on my TV up here. And I normally would like to watch films at night. So I had to sort of sit down and go, right, you're going to watch a show tonight. You're going to watch some shows. Yeah, look, this show it's I love David Attenborough stuff. I always have. I grew up with those BBC shows he done. From Life to Our Planet to, you know, The Hunt and Africa. I'm trying to think of them all, but he's done so many. Blue Planet was one of my personal favourites. And obviously, like most people on the planet, I think dinosaurs are very fascinating things. The fact that these big, monstrous creatures, animals walked the planet, I think it's so fascinating. I used to have a real obsession with them when I was younger. I can't say that stuck with me through the years, but I still find them thoroughly interesting. And to have that combined, David Attenborough, dinosaurs, and then the HBO budget being on Apple TV as well, it's just all a combination of just greatness coming together. And you get a really, really interesting viewing experience. And I think with that as well, this show is obviously very up to date. And unlike something else that came out this year, and I didn't mind this show, but the Morgan Freeman one, which went to Netflix, I didn't mind that. Whereas you could tell, like, the budget weren't as big, and they were kind of going off what people knew about dinosaurs. This one's very much more to what we've discovered in recent years, like the T-Rex having these teeny little arms. You can see feathers on them, and it's great, stuff like that. It's a very interesting show. So yeah, Prehistoric Planet Season 2 comes in 6th. Coming in 5th place, though, as people know, I'm a big Formula 1 fan. LH44, Lewis Hamilton, in case you weren't aware, best driver. The documentary, don't worry, I'm not going to say Drive to Survive season 5. That wasn't the best, I'll admit. But the documentary Brawn came out this year, came out November. Of course, Keanu Reeves hosting, and it's the story of the Brawn team, Jenson Button getting his world championship. And I knew about this. It would have been on telly when I was younger, and I probably watched 1 or 2 races from this season, as I always did. My dad's a huge Formula 1 fan. My mum likes it as well. My sister got into it when I did, so we're the newcomers. But, you know, I always watch like 3 or 4 seasons a year. 3 or 4 races a year, sorry, with Formula 1. Because it'd be on telly, my dad would be watching it. So I probably watched a couple races from this season, genuinely did. But I knew nothing about it. I couldn't remember. And it is fascinating to see this underdog team come in. Everyone's lending this team money because they feel sorry for them. They're like, oh, we don't really want them to drop out the sport, so we give them a little bit of money, keep them there. They'll be at the back. We just, you know, just keep them going. And then for them to come along with this supercar and start demolishing everyone. It's an incredible story. It's only 4 parts. So if you're not a huge Formula 1 fan, you're thinking, oh, should I watch it? Shouldn't I? It's 4 parts. It's not very long. The first half hour of the first episode is very much the mechanics of the team getting its funding and blah, 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 blah. But then halfway through that, the season starts. You start to see the racing, and it's really cool. You go from seeing Jenson destroying everyone to a rivalry with his teammate, and then you do sort of see the team fall apart a little bit, and it's just fascinating to watch. My only complaint with it is I'm sorry, I didn't think Keanu Reeves was the best host. He was just okay. But yeah, Brawn, really good. Coming in 4th place is the Boys spin-off Gen V. Yeah, I really didn't know how to feel about this one either, to be honest. I was like, do I care about this without, you know, Carl Urban's character and without Homelander? How much am I invested here? But this show done a great job at immediately making you feel these are your core characters, these are their powers, and then as the show just got going, you just went on this crazy ride with them. And it done everything that the Boys shows do. You have this mental fun time, and it really pushes its limits. But it always hits that line where it's like, we're not going to quite go over it, but we're going to get damn well close to it. And I love that about it. It's this brutal, fun, energetic show. And in a dying genre of superhero stuff, The Boys, for some reason, is showing no signs whatsoever of fading. And I think it's because it does feel completely unique compared to every other superhero movie or show that's coming out. And this has a very boisterous, loud vibe to it. And I think it's working really well for it. And even with this spin-off, I was thoroughly entertained. And I think I might have even preferred this spin-off to the third season of the actual main show. So yeah, Gen V, I'm looking forward to seeing the next season. Coming in third place is a show, it's the second season of a show, but I hadn't seen the first, so I watched the first and then this, and I had a great time watching them back to back, and it is The Bear. The first season I thought was good. I was like, yeah, this is okay. Not okay, that's harsh. I thought this was good. Where's this incredible show that people were talking about? Anyway, season 2 had just all come out, so I was like, right, let's crack on, let's see if I can finally get it, and I did. Season 2 was this huge step up, and the characters in it are so well written. The dialogue is immensely good. Along with that, you have some crazy moments in this show, seeing this small, restaurant with this guy who's been in like a high-class gourmet chef's kitchen, trying to bring it up out the depths of nothing, I guess. And it is just thoroughly incredible. The back half of this season is some of the best TV I've watched in a long time. One of my favourite episodes of TV ever is now in this season. The Christmas episode, the Christmas party. Those of you who've seen it know what I'm on about. John Barnthal, one of the greatest actors of all time. I love that man, truly. The Bear season 2 is coming in third. Coming in second place. Now, I want to say before I crack on with the top 2, there are going to be some shows that aren't on here. I know that there's, people going to be screaming, what about this show? What about that? And as I say, go look at my serialized list, and that show you mentioned might be on there. If it isn't, it means I haven't watched it. I can't watch everything. So just remember, guys, this is just my personal list. Coming in second place is going to be The Last of Us. I'm a huge fan of the games. Controversially, I really like the second game. So I'm really curious to see where they're going to go with the second game. I'm ready to see the backlash all over again, and me just sit there quietly in the background going, I liked it. I understand people's problems with it. I do, but I still enjoyed it. Anyway, getting off topic. This show, I wasn't 100% convinced of either casting of Pedro Pascal or Bella Ramsey. I was like, that's not really who I envisioned. But anyway, let's crack on. And I thought they both killed it. To be honest, from the word go, I was like, with Pedro Pascal, I was like, yeah, I'm here. This is brilliant. It was so well casted. Bella Ramsey took me a few episodes, but eventually I sort of got the Ellie vibes from her. I was like, yeah, no, I think this was actually quite well casted. So I had to eat my words a bit on that one. Visually, the show is probably the best series I watched this year. Visually, it's incredible. The clickers look unbelievable. My favourite episode was the one where they stop off at that house. And of course, it's all flashbacks to this couple who lived there, and unfortunately they're not there when Joel and Ellie get there. I think it's the 3rd or 4th episode. The only complaint I honestly have with this show is I think the finale was a little bit underwhelming. Obviously knew what was going to happen and played the games, but it just sort of all unfolded a bit quickly, and it was a bit like, oh, okay, well there's that, that's done. They've kind of done that really quick. I know it's really quick in the games, but I thought that they might make it a bit more interesting. Anyway, I really like The Last of Us, though, overall. It's a great show. Coming in first place, though, is going to be The Fall of the House of Usher. I haven't seen The Haunting of Hill House, or the is it something Manor one, which is weird, because everyone says that they're the best shows by these two. I forget their names. But I did watch the religious one on the island a few years back, and I loved it. Midnight Mass, pretty sure it's called. Loved it. Really loved that show. And my friend Ryan was raving about this one. I was like, okay, I'll give this a watch. And I'll be honest, again, first episode, I was like, not feeling this. But I was the same with Midnight Mass. The first 1 or 2 episodes, I was like, not feeling this. But this is what these guys do so well, I've noticed now after watching 2 of their shows. They're brilliant at doing character setup. Because as soon as first episode's over, you go into the second episode of this show, and things just start happening. And you slowly put together, as you go through each episode, right, I'm getting the formula of this show. I'm understanding where it's going, what it's doing, why it's doing it, though. You're slowly putting pieces together, and you get to the final episode, and it all comes together like a jigsaw, and you sit there and go, that was bloody brilliant. Yeah, I've not been this fixated on a show in a long time. This was so good, this show. Unbelievable. From a visual standpoint as well. The acting was incredible. Yeah, I really thought this show was mind-blowing. If you haven't seen The Fall of the House of Usher, then you need to go give it a watch. It's really cool. Really creepy as well. Great little horror show there. But anyway, there we go. There we go. There are my favourite shows. My top 10 of 2023. As I say, if there's some shows there that you're going, where are they? Where are they? I either haven't watched them or they're just lower on the list. Because, yeah, there was a lot of crap this year as well. You know, The Idol existed. Anyone forget about that? What was the John Wick spin-off? That was pretty awful as well. Secret Invasion. Even poor Mando dropped so low this year. Yeah, there's been a lot of bad as well. And then there's been a lot of mid-tier stuff where you go. But anyway, there we are, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it as always. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a message. And as always, I'll see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.